Have you ever felt like you've lost sight of your dreams while working in the corporate world? That sense of disconnect between your current reality and your aspirations can be profoundly unsettling. So how do you reclaim your dreams and ensure you're actively pursuing them? Time is our most precious resource, yet it's easy to get caught up in the daily grind and lose sight of the bigger picture. Now, out of the 24 hours in a day, the average person spends, say, about 8 to 9 hours working, plus additional time commuting, cooking, exercising, and sleeping. That can leave little room for cultivating your dreams and passions. But it is important to take stock of how you are spending your limited free time. Are you actively working towards your goals, or do you find yourself simply filling the hours? Or sometimes we can get so entrenched in a past that no longer aligns with our true purpose. While that place may have once felt like where we belonged, it may not be our final destination. On today's episode of Business Insight on PlusTvAfrica, we'll explore strategies to help you refocus on your dreams, especially when it comes to your career and entrepreneurial aspirations. My guests who transition from construction to communications will share insight on rising through the ranks while staying true to your passions. I'm your host, Justin Academy, and I'm here to encourage you to boldly pursue the life and work you envision. Welcome on board. My guest, Olaotan Fawehinmi, is a dynamic professional with a tenacious commitment to excellence and innovation. With a rich background in media and marketing communications, he has gained extensive expertise in public relations, e-commerce, media, hospitality, and NGOs. Olaotan's journey is marked by bold decisions and transformative leaps, which are evident in his transition from the construction world to the dynamic communication industry. Over time, he has excelled in developing brand strategies, managing campaigns, and producing compelling content for renowned brands such as ASUS, Conga, Jameson, Stanbic IBTC, MasterCard Foundation, White & McKay Scotch Whiskies, and Clarence Dillon Wines, among others. Now, beyond his professional endeavors, Olaotan is deeply committed to empowering teenagers and youth. For over 5 years, he dedicated his time to consistently training hundreds of teenagers on self-discovery, fulfillment, and actualization. He advocates for nurturing young minds to unlock their full potential. Many thanks for joining me, Ola, on Business Insights.
It's good to be here, as always.
Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much, Justin.
Okay, take us through your journey. Let's just dive straight into it, from construction to what you do now, marketing communications. But then, was construction what you always wanted to do?
No.
So how did you get there?
Construction was never what I set out to do initially. Okay. But you know how back in the days, once you're very good with some of the subjects, you are automatically sentenced to the science class, right?
Okay.
So I was very good with maths, physics.
Okay.
I think I had my best grades in maths and physics.
Okay.
So coming out, I knew I was good with calculation. For some time, I didn't do well with JAM. But I did well with the PCE. I mean, back in the day, there was PolyJam, PCE. So I think I had 157, and it was good enough to take me into a polytechnic. And I looked at all the courses. Then there was a friend of mine, very close friend of mine, Benga Kinola, who was at that time studying quantity surveying in FUTA. So I asked him about it, like, what is it about? And he told me, I'm like, that's interesting. There's a lot of calculations. I'm good with maths and physics. All right, why not? Let's try it. So I failed quantity surveying. And then I went to Federal Poly Ado, and they took me. In fact, my name was number 3 on the list. So I just entered easy, and for 2 years, ND, I studied quantity surveying. And coming out of ND, my family was like, no, you won't do HND because you have better chances if you go for degree. And initially I tried to get into Unilag to study quantity surveying. It didn't work out, so I went to FUTA. To study quantity surveying for another 4 years, because I entered through direct entry.
6 years.
So 6 years, altogether studying quantity surveying. But I think that it was in my 200 level in FUTA that it was very clear to me that I'm just I'm just doing this to fulfill
You know why I'm laughing? Because it's just like I can relate with this.
Yeah, I'm telling you a story.
Because I studied accounting.
Right.
Before then, from secondary school, my teacher got angry because I didn't do science. Like, you're too brainy, you should be doing science. I used to do commercial, like quite commercial for the
commercial, exactly.
But I had lots of accountants around me and everything.
Right.
Like, I should do accounting, there's money to be made.
Exactly.
I was barely 16, 17, I'm like, okay. And I did admission. But second year, like, is this what you need?
Are we sure this is where they're supposed to be? Right. So that's it. I mean, I got in there and I knew that this is not where I'm supposed to be. Like the time during ND was okay. I was young. I was straight out of school. Then I got into Polytechnic the following year, and I met great guys, great friends. I started to understand the school life. Then I met my brother, so we stayed together, and he let me know that, look, in school you have to be focused, you have to read, and yeah, he helped me. I had good grades. That one worked. I had good grades both during the ND and when I got to university.
Okay.
But then beyond good grades, right? I didn't get that vibe. I wasn't getting that. I didn't enjoy it. So for me, growing up, I knew that I wanted to do something that somebody would see one day and say, wow, how did somebody come up with this?
Okay.
That's something I've always wanted to do. But then I realized that, apologies to every quantity surveying professional, I mean, I'm not demeaning the profession, but it was how I felt. I felt like I wasn't really enjoying this thing because I was following rules, something that an Oyinbo man had created several years ago, and he just says, when you want to do this, you do this, and then we're just like robots. We're just the same project, we're doing the same thing. Just create BOQ, create this one, create that one, and then it was just too stoic for me. It was, it felt like one of my friends back then that I met at the University of Lagos, she said she felt like she was using 0.001% of her brain. And that's how I felt. So I feel like I wasn't really using up my potentials and all the things that I could do with that. But looking back, even from secondary school, my friends used to tell me to help them write letters. I remember I wrote several letters to my sisters in school. You know those letters now?
Yes, no.
Back then, my sisters were in the university, I was in secondary school. I'll write letters to them. They would read it and say, did you write that letter? I'm like, yeah. It was so good. There were no errors. I'm like, yeah, okay. But then I didn't know that could be a strength. I thought I was just doing it. But getting into university, I look back and I'm like, there is something I'm good at. I could write.
So let me just butt in here.
Right.
Now. So invariably, what you're saying is that sometimes you might have some of these the skills, the talents, and that you might overlook it. Why? It might be telling you that this is the direction that you should be going, and maybe you didn't have anyone to just help you hone those skills or to encourage you or something.
You see, that part of having anyone is very crucial. I pray that people who have made it in whatever industry they are today, I pray that they know that the reason they have made in the industry so that they can guide those who are coming behind.
Wow.
If anybody knew better when I was in secondary school, I was moving, they will tell me, don't bother yourself to go to sciences because you're good at the craft. You can write. So just go to arts and then develop it and probably study mass communication and come out and just follow your passion.
Wow.
But then at that time, all the best that they knew at that time is, oh, you're so brilliant. You should be in sciences. You should be a medical doctor. Or you should be a lawyer. You should be an engineer. That was all they knew. At that time, there were no influencers. There were no skit makers. There were no...
Just doctors.
Even if you come out and say you're an artist, they look at their hair, so artist skinny. When your mates are doctors, and you know that kind of thing. So that was the way it was. But looking back now, I advocate that. See, you would probably do better when you go with what you are naturally skillful at. So I looked at it and I'm like, no, I don't want to follow rules. I want to create.
Okay.
And then I looked at my skill sets. Writing was one of it. I was also very good with speaking. when I stand in front of, I mean, I had several groups back in secondary school that I was leading.
Yeah.
I could stand and address people, and I could influence them to agree to the cause.
True.
And so I knew that I am not going to run away from public speaking. And I'm not going to run away from writing. It wasn't very clear then, but it was one step after another.
Okay, fine. So, indeed, parents, caregivers, maybe mentors
Yes.
should be able to be around to guide people to notice or to identify it on time
Yes.
and try to hone the skills. But let me ask this question going forward now. So, how long did you have to stay in construction before you eventually thought that I should not be here for I have wasted like this number of years of my life?
I worked 2 months.
Oh,
Post NYSC. So
just 2 months now.
So 400 level, I did my IT somewhere around Igboshere, the High Court was QS Consulting, QS Consulting firm. So I did my IT there. Fantastic. In fact, I had a $5 when I went back to school to defend the IT. I did several projects. In fact, I worked on Royal Gardens at that time doing design when they were constructing it. So I got back to school, I defended, everything was fine. Then I left school, I went for NYSC. In fact, during NYSC, they called me from that organization that when you're done,
They wanted you to come work with
we'll come back and work with us. I said, fine. So when I finished NYSC, I just told them I was done, and automatic employment, I got it. 1 month, it was drama. Second month, no, I'm not supposed to be here. So I resigned.
Okay.
And they looked at me like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're so good. You came here, you did IT, everything was fine. What's going on? And I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Wow.
2 months. So I pulled out. I didn't pull out because I had something to do. I pulled out because I knew that I was going to be wasting. I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't looking forward to the next day. So I resigned.
So working was more like a struggle.
I was struggling. Like, it was as if they were strangling me every morning going to work. So when I resigned, at that time I was living with my sister at Obutemeta. I would, when they've all gone to work, or maybe in the night, when they're sleeping in the night, I'll be on my laptop writing articles, book. Then I also learned graphics.
Okay.
So the thing is, I was good with something, but I didn't leave it raw.
Okay.
I tried to refine it.
Okay.
I remember vividly, deliberately, and this is a story that gets to me because of who's involved. I remember that when I knew that I wanted to go to marketing communications, I thought about the kind of skills that you really need to have. And one of it is designs. You need to be good with designs. You need to be good with writing and all of that. So I knew I had to learn how to design. A friend of mine was a cartoonist, so I asked him what software he used. He said Photoshop. I didn't know what it was. But he gave me the CD. And I installed it on my laptop then. By the way, that laptop was given to me by my sister. So I installed Photoshop on it, and I had it there. How did I learn Photoshop? I would go to my mom and tell her to give me 120 naira that I would take to a cafe and do overnight browsing.
Oh, wow.
Now, when others were coming to watch adult movies with overnight browsing, I was downloading tutorials of Photoshop.
Oh, wow.
Tens and tens of it in a flash drive. Then I'll take it home and open each one of them and follow the steps to recreate whatever they had done there. And that was how I learned Photoshop. And from there, designing logos, creating flyers, doing brochures, that was how we started.
Wow.
And from one thing to another, right? That was how I got my first book. It was the graphics knowledge that I used to design the cover and the interiors of my first book.
Wow.
I couldn't print it here because here in Nigeria, you can't do print on demand. You have to do minimum of 500 or 1,000 copies. Then I got a friend who told me about a certain organization in the US that can do print on demand. So I sent it to them. I was able to order just two, dollar was still handsome then, not now. I was able to order 2 copies. So they sent it to me. Imagine ordering my own book. So they sent it to me. Everywhere I went for an interview, I went with the book. Because before then, I would send my CV out for copywriting, content development, this one. They will see quantity surveying and they just throw it away because it wasn't adding up. Yeah, quantity surveyor, you want to be a copywriter. Probably if they had seen mass comm or something would have made sense. But this one, no, nobody cared. They just threw it away. But I had the chance to be called for an interview at Conga. It was the book I went with. And I remember the person that interviewed me said, oh, you've left school, you did quantity surveying. How are you sure that you can be a good copywriter? So what have you been doing since you left? Then I showed her the book. I said, look, I've written a book. And she kept flipping and asking questions. She kept flipping and asking questions. I was there at that interview for 45 minutes with her.
Wow.
She drilled me through and through. Guess what? I got the job.
Oh, wow.
It was my first job in the industry.
Okay, but you were able to identify on time that you will be like wasting like forever doing what you're not supposed to. But some people, they find it difficult, maybe because of the fear of the unknown.
Yes.
And maybe they have been stuck in a particular place or a particular line of, job or something for years. And they feel that, is this really what I should do? I know I've always wanted to do this, but I'm not getting any younger, and I feel that the economy is not really smiling right now. Why don't I just hold on to what I have right now?
So the thing is, nothing is ever going to come cheap. If you study something and you want to get a job in that thing, it's not like it will come cheap anyway.
Not at all.
So for me, I think it's determination and consistency.
Determination and consistency.
Yes, so I determined that I really wanted to go with my skill set, which was comms, because I was very good with speaking, writing, and designing. So I wanted to build a career in that line. So I decided that that was what I wanted to do. I determined that no matter what happens, I am not leaving this. Man, the war. If I don't, 3 hours cannot be enough to tell you some of the things that happen, the struggles, the challenges. But because of the determination, we had to cross every hurdle. I had to cross every hurdle to ensure that no matter what happens, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to build a fantastic career out of it.
Okay, but is that too late a time? Is that a right time? Whenever is the time to
It's
begin?
good to start early. But if you didn't, there's never, ever a time that you say, oh, it's too late, I can't start again. And we have hundreds and thousands of examples, people who are old and they will just pick up.
And some people in their 50s, 60s want to be lawyers and they go back to school.
I know a 70-year-old man who is studying medicine. Yes, it's my very good friend.
Wow.
He's a 70-year-old man, yes, he's studying
But
medicine.
some people would say you actually have practically lived all your life, so what are you going to do with it?
Fulfillment.
Okay.
Yeah. So fulfillment, the fact that, oh, this is what I really want to do, and you're able to do it, and you achieved it, your story is an inspiration to someone.
Okay.
And that's the truth. So the fact that, oh, I love this thing, and I'm able to make something out of it, that's enough. Yeah, that's enough. And if you know you are going to, it's like stepping into the waters, right? You don't know how deep it is until you keep going. So if you take a step or two, and you're like, oh, this thing is too deep, I want to pull back, and you pull back, then you never ever, your legs never get wet. So if you take 2 steps and go back, the water never gets to your knees, right? So you never get wet. But if you keep going, then you go deeper, and then the deeper you go, the more water gets to your body. That's how it works. Okay, so there is never a time that you're going to say, oh, I'm too old, I can't follow my passion. Whatever it is that passion is, it's just to creatively fashion out how you go about it. Okay? Everything wasn't, I didn't have everything at my disposal at the same time. But whatever it is that I had per time, I made good use of it to go to the next level. Even in the career, right? From a copywriter to a content production manager to an executive director, an executive editor on an online news platform, to a brand manager, to PR manager, to head of PR and comms. It's just one thing after another. But the experience that you gain here is the springboard for the next place where you are going. That's how it works.
But then again, you have to be deliberate, and you have to maybe learn the ropes or learn what is needed in those fields, because it's not just about wanting to dream or having a dream or wanting to be somewhere and not really doing the things that are needed to take you there.
Exactly. So figure out what you need for that role. for that industry, to excel in that industry, and develop yourself and build yourself to be there. I just spoke about graphic designs.
Yes,
there is no way you will be a successful comms person if you don't understand visuals, right? Because some of the brands that you're going to be talking about, you have to understand how to best represent them visually and stuff like that. And so if you do not even know the nitty-gritty of designs, then you're not going to function well as head of brands or head of marketing comms. So that's how it works. Is to understand what do you need per time. It's like a ladder. So I always tell people, like, following your passion or your dreams is like climbing a ladder. If you don't put your feet here, you will not be able to put your... Exactly. So understand what are the requirements here before you put your feet. Once you've done that, then there's another one, find it out, and that's how you keep going. And then the ladder never ends, keeps going. That's it. That's how it works.
Okay. So as it is right now, for people who may have several dreams, they are maybe just like Joseph, and they're like, okay, they don't even know which to pursue at a time. What would you advise the person?
Well, somehow...
Some are very talented.
Yes, multi-talented.
Yes.
Somehow, I feel like the dots somehow connect. Figure out which one should have most of your attention. I wouldn't say throw the rest away, because you just never know. Cast your bread on many waters, because you never know which one will come to you. However, it is good to be focused, right? Be focused in the sense that find out which of those dreams or those passion or whatever it is that you call it is closest to your heart, the one that you really, 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 really love, and you can pour more attention on that one. However, don't lose sight of the rest, okay? You can also try to, I always say it, somehow everything connects. If you have 5 gifts or 5 talents, everything at the end of the day should connect. One should support the other, and everything should just flow like that. Okay? So it's like having temperaments. There are 4 temperaments, right? You have a bit of everything, but you have one that is dominant. Okay? So find out that passion or that gift that is dominant and put more action, put more energy into that. But then don't lose sight of the others. You can still see how you can wiggle your way around stuff.
All right, as we round off, Ola, let me just ask, because some people would say no knowledge is wisdom. Take, for instance, someone who, because of age and youth or usefulness, decide to go on a particular journey and started maybe in accounting, and over time they found themselves doing maybe fashion or doing decoration or something. So would you really say, like you were talking about connecting the dots and everything, so is that 4 years completely a waste in school?
Trust me, that's a fantastic question. First thing I realized about my writing when I started out is that people say you are very analytical. Because if you see my writing in the newspaper, it's like mathematics. You know how you use maths to write an article. You analyze everything. You tell your audience why this is this. If this is this, then it is like you're solving simultaneous equation. Why? I have a background in maths and physics, in calculations. So it helped me to have an analytical perspective to everything.
Which is good.
And it reflects in my writing. If I want to analyze a design to you, trust me, you'll probably get a note and a calculator and a pen and start writing, because I will tell you how A plus B is equal to 5. That's it. So it's never a waste. That accounting, right? By the time you start fashion, there is nobody that can take away your 5 naira, because you will use the knowledge of accounting to ensure that your money is intact, is safe. Okay? So even if you study Yoruba and right now you are interested in music, who says your genre cannot be a different one that had never existed before, maybe like a traditional kind of thing, mixing it with something that people, it was somebody who,
indigenous.
Yes, indigenous, yeah, it was somebody, yeah, you could do a genre that is indigenous. It was somebody who came up with Afro Juju in the first place. It was somebody who came up with reggae in the first place. And what says you cannot come up with your own?
Right.
So no knowledge is lost. Don't think that, oh, I studied English, I don't have anything to do in banking. So what if you are in relationship and then you speak good English, you are a relationship manager, you speak good English when you go to your client. It gives you an edge, like somebody who will get there and blab. So never, whatever it is you did, the 4 years is not lost. It has developed you. I said something about school. School is meant to teach us how to think and not necessarily what to think.
Okay.
So that's why they say you pass through school and school will pass through you. It refines you. It helps you to meet people, know how to relate, brushes you or polishes you, right? So that 4 years has polished you. Is now to go into what you want to do and make sure that you're using what you have learned in school and you're using it to make sure that your business or whatever it is, your career, is doing well.
All right, thank you so much, Ola. You couldn't have said it better. We do appreciate your time. And of course, welcome. I actually have learned, as always, whenever you are around. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Justin. It's always a pleasure.
All right, and that's the size of the show. But just before we go, trying to rush things and not taking our time to truly see through the process can be our biggest downfall. Having the patience to just let things flow will allow you to see the vision clearly. Take your time and be patient. Believe in yourself. If you believe you can achieve whatever it is in life that you want to do, just do it. I am Justin Akadonye. See you again next time. Bye for now.